To my fellow writers with a day job, no matter if you're working in a high-stress environment or you have a cushy little 9-to-5 with work-life balance, adopt a plan to finish your novel. If you don't, you might begin to feel stuck no matter where you work. That was my story. Hello, everyone. I'm Abi Ishola-Ayodeji. I'm the author of Patience is a Subtle Thief. I'm also a writing coach here to help you own your voice and write the unique story in your head so you can move on to your next brilliant idea. If that's you, hit the like and subscribe button so we can stay connected. Check out the link in my description so you can download my free writing checklist to make sure you're on the right path towards starting and finishing the novel of your dreams. So let's talk about burnout. It's a common thing in our society as work remains a necessary part of life. As writers, burnout is even more of a threat if you're working a grueling job and you're trying to write the novel of your dreams at the same time. People say, get a job that allows you to write, just as actors, get jobs that allow them to go out on auditions. But my story is interesting and one I think that people can learn from. I got burnt out at a very comfortable job that allowed me to write. How was that possible, you ask? Let me explain. Well, if you're a writer of fiction, I'm sure you know how it feels to have that nagging feeling about finishing a book or a story. You can't seem to shake the idea, even with all the things that you have to juggle. School, relationships, work, children if you have kids. The irony, though, is if you don't figure out how to prioritize your writing or something you're really passionate about, your ideas could potentially become a burden for you. We don't want that. What we do want is freedom from the grip of creative ideas. Oh, because they are gripping, and there's a reason for that grip. Your creative work is a big calling on your life, at least that's how I see it. I'm not asking or advising anyone to go out and quit their cushy job or their grueling job to become a full-time writer. No. Allow me to give you my own backstory. I had a job when I was writing Patience is a Subtle Thief, my debut novel. Check it out if you haven't already. Shameless plug. It was a good job, a very safe and stable job. But I always wanted more, and I always wanted to finish the novel I had started years before I got that job. Just a little backstory on me. I'm a journalist. I got my master's degree in journalism, then went on to work at a non-commercial station in New York. I did some really great work while I was there. I produced so many stories on ethnic communities in New York. I was able to travel to Nigeria and Ghana to produce a series. I was also able to win an Emmy Award, which sits right behind me. But I started to get bored at work and I didn't see how I would be able to grow there either. So I started to question why I wasn't working at a big company or a network station doing something noteworthy. Because what do we start to do to ourselves when we don't feel fulfilled? Am I doing enough? Am I enough? Am I worthy of more? Yes, we are all enough. But as we know, so much of people's identities become tied to their work when that pull to finish or achieve something is so strong. So I stayed at my very safe job because I knew if I had to keep a job while I attempted to write a novel, which honestly was my ultimate goal, that would be the job to keep. The culture was decent. It was a diverse environment. There was little to no stress involved in the work because it was a non-commercial station that allowed for that sort of flexibility in the role I was in. The problem was I went through long periods of not believing in my ability to complete a novel. So I procrastinated and wasted a whole lot of time on self-doubt. Here I was at this flexible job with an idea to write a book, but no plan on how to get it done. No confidence to execute. On top of that, I felt like I wasn't growing in my career as a journalist. I felt stuck. At the same time, I knew what it looked like to work long hours, which eventually could lead to burnout. I had already seen the ins and outs of working at major magazines, which I did early on in my career as a freelancer. During grad school, I worked at a major morning show, so I knew the feeling of being overwhelmed at work. And it's not a good feeling, especially if you're a creative person looking to do something outside of work, like write a book. And especially if you're not able to turn off the stress related to work. So considering all of that, I knew I would be able to finish my book with a job that allowed me to think and create. But still, the idea of professional growth began to weigh on me heavily. The goal is to finish and to get it published and for you to publish it. But writing a book, it takes time. So I felt stuck? Am I staying complacent in a career for nothing? That's what I started to question. Years went by. I still wasn't prioritizing my writing. I picked up other projects like a podcast and a radio show that my husband and I produced back in 2009. And I launched a project called Beyond Classically Beautiful, which went viral and did well. Then I launched a blog under the same name. All this while, at my very safe job, still trying to write this book, but really not getting through it. Still somewhat holding myself back, still battling my confidence as a writer, waiting on me to come to me fully. Luckily for me, while I was there, I did finish my book because of a plan I eventually adopted on how to actually get it done. Why hadn't I done that years ago? So if you're a writer battling this sort of thing, please check out the link in my description to book a call with me or to download the free writer's checklist so that you can get through your novel with a little bit more ease. Have a plan that will create a bit more ease, because as we know, writing is not for the faint of heart. I'm looking for 10 students to start out with, and once I have those 10 students, I will create a waiting list for anyone else who's interested. So head over to my website, aishola.com, to check that out. Now back to my story. Here comes more irony. By the time 2020 came, I had gotten my manuscript to a place where, it was ready to shop around. Check out my story on how I got my book deal. When Patience is a Subtle Thief was finally published, I was still at my very safe job, feeling very much like a big fish in a small pond. Not because the pond wasn't good. The pond was great. It was just that I had done all that I could do there over and over and over again, and I felt like it was time to move forward. So I decided to look for another job. I had finally tapped out, so I jumped ship. The job I had started had nothing to do with writing, but I was making more money, and it was along the lines of some of the other work I had done. Our divine selves know when we're not in the right place, and I knew in my heart that I wasn't in the right place. So why do I share this long story? I share it because I want you to get out of your own way. Don't allow your goals to be held up by your fears. In the end, you will look back and realize that all you needed to do was plan a little each day and, have confidence. I think back to all the years of doubting myself. I think of the years I remained complacent. I think of the years that I thought that I wasn't a good enough writer. I'm thankful for all the jobs that I've had, and I've met a lot of great people along the way, but I owed it to myself to really give my work a solid chance. And so do you. I don't know who needs to hear this, but stop wasting your time on waiting on courage or waiting to be inspired by something. A lot of the times, that spark of inspiration, you have to create. You have to create it. When you waste time and bypass actual planning and focus, you begin to feel like you wasted energy that could have been spent on your actual goals as a writer. Start working on your book, no matter where you are with it. Take small steps. Find a writing coach if you need one. Get to being the writer you were meant to be, because if you don't plan, you will continue to feel stuck, and you will continue to question what if. A creative person's unexplored ideas will start to become a burden in their lives if they don't figure out how to get it done. Imagine all the people that you're going to touch, and all the people you're going to meet, and all the people you're going to inspire. People's lives can literally be changed by your work. Dive in and do your best. If this is your first time on my channel, I'm Abi Ishola-Ayodeji. I am the author of Patience is a Subtle Thief. I'm also a writing coach, so if you need help, I am here. Check out the links in my description. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, keep writing. Bye.